Assalamu alaikum viewers. My name is Amir Raza. Today we are going to discuss structure of human eye. This lesson is particularly designed for O-level students. And for those students who find it very difficult to understand the different parts of the human eye and to label them, I assure you, I guarantee you, after this lesson, definitely no more it will be difficult for you to explain different parts of the human eye and what are their functions. So let's start. So when we talk about the human eye, a human eye is just a ball-like structure and it is present in the bony structure of skull that is called orbit. So orbit are two depressions in your skull in which your eyeball are actually located. So suppose this is a ball-like structure, it's human eye. This eyeball or this eye is actually located in the orbit. It is fixed with the help of 6 muscles called rectus muscles. So these are the rectus muscles. The function of these rectus muscles is just to put this eyeball into the orbit, and these muscles also help the eyeball to move right or left. You can move your eye to any direction without moving your head. Okay, when we see the external structure of human eye, let me draw it. So let me label different parts of human eye externally. So first we have the outer coverings of the human eye called eyelids. These eyelids are provided with eyelashes. Actually, there are 3 eyelids. 2 eyelids are functional and one is vestigial or non-functional. That is also called nictitating membrane. It is present over here. Actually, this nictitating membrane is functional in different animals. It protects their eye. It also gives them a proper view, but non-functional in human being. We are having 2 eyelids, and what is the function of eyelid? Actually, it protects our inner part of our eyeball, and then it also controls the intensive light to get enter into the eye. Basically, this intensive light sometimes can damage our retina behind. Okay, after eyelids, let's see what is the function of eyelashes. Eyelashes are there, these are the hair-like structures. Actually, they prevent out the dust particles and do not let them enter into your eye. Okay, then move inside the eye. If we try to peep in the internal structure of eye from the outer side, we can differentiate 2 very distinctive parts. The one which is colored one, this colored part is called iris. It is provided with a small window-like structure. A small hole is present through which the light will get enter into the eye. That is called pupil. Actually, we see there are different colors of iris. Some people actually having light brown, dark brown, green, blue. Okay, then we can differentiate this part of iris which is colored one. The outer one part is the most distinctive part of the eye, which is present on the outer side of the whole eyeball. That is called sclera or sclerotic coat. this is hard structure, hard layer, which is protective layer actually present on the outer side of the eyeball. But actually this sclera is also covered by two very distinctive layers. The one is called conjunctiva. This conjunctiva is present on whole of this sclera and it continues to the inner side of our eyelids. Then inner to it another bulging out structure is present. We can see in the internal structure that is called cornea. This structure is called cornea. We will discuss later on when I will explain you the internal structure of eye. But right now, just going to label the different parts of human eye. Cornea basically is the bulging part, transparent. Then another layer is present over it that covers the whole inner part of the eye, the sclera, and continues to the outer part of your eyelids. Actually, conjunctiva is a protective layer. Another protective layer is present over there. So then further we move to the inner sides of the eyelids. The upper inner sides actually is provided with some type of glands called lacrimal glands or tear glands. These glands are called tear glands or lacrimal glands. Actually, these lacrimal glands or tear glands produce tears. So what is the role of tears? Actually, they wash away the dust particles which get enter into your eye. And definitely if your eye get dry and if you try to rub it or if you blink your eye, so those dust particles can damage the inner side of your eyeball. So in order to prevent this action, in order to avoid it, these lacrimal glands are provided. So whenever any dust particle get its entry into your eye, lot of watery medium is actually released at that time to wash away the dust particles. And particularly when you blink your eye, the same will happen. It wipes out all the dust particles from your eye. So the same function that we can observe on the front screen of our cars, we have wipers. So what is the function of wipers? I mean, when there is a rain, just to wipe out the water, just to give us a clear picture, clear view. So same is the function of this gland. Actually, when dust particles get entered into the eye, water or watery medium is released and everything will be wiped out. So this was the whole structure of the eye when we study it externally. One thing is left, that is the lacrimal ducts, which brings actually over here we have a structure. These are the lacrimal ducts. These lacrimal ducts actually collect the watery medium from the eye. When particularly more water is produced, more secretion of watery medium is there, some of the secretions get entered into these ducts called lacrimal ducts and it enters into a nasolacrimal duct which enters into your nose. And I think, have you ever observed when a person is crying or in that condition he's trying to wipe out his nose? He's actually having a runny nose at that time. So why he's having that feeling of runny nose? The water that is moving out of these lacrimal ducts will get entered into nasolacrimal duct and definitely will be flowing out through your nose. So this was the whole structure of eye externally. And one thing, let's talk about the diameter of human eye. The average diameter of human eye is 2.4 centimeter. So these are the parts which we must know externally. Mean these are the labelings and these are the structures we discussed externally. Let's we move and discuss the internal structure of human eye. Okay, let's talk about the internal structure of human eye. Well, internally we study the human eye. Basically, it is made up of three very distinctive layers. What are those three distinctive layers? Number one, the outermost, that is white in color, is called sclera. Sclerotic cover or sclera membrane. Inner to this membrane, the second membrane is called choroid. And the third membrane is called sensory layer, sensitive layer. That is called retina. These are the three layers of which the eye is made up. Internally, when we talk about this sclera, so let's make the structure of eyeball. Okay, this structure, this layer is called sclera, which is white in color. This is hard, outer protective layer, non-flexible. So inner to it, another membrane is present, that is called choroid. So when we talk about the choroid, this choroid layer is a second inner layer. It performs two very distinctive functions. The number one, it is provided with pigmentations. Pigments are present at the base of this, the outer base of this membrane. And second, it is also provided with blood vessels. So two main functions that this membrane actually is going to do inside the inner structure of eyeball. Number one, it provides nutrition. It's choroid. The outermost layer is called sclera. Sclera is protective layer. Choroid is the second layer which is present inner to sclera. The function of choroid, number one, it contains some pigments. The dark pigments are actually present over here. And what is the function of these dark pigments? Actually to absorb maximum light. Do not let the light to reflect back. When there will be more light get into your eye, it should be absorbed readily to give you a clear view. So that's why we are having pigments over there in this choroid layer. Second function of choroid. This choroid is provided with blood vessels. Definitely, these blood vessels provide oxygen and nutrition to your cells inside the eye. Okay, when we talk about this choroid continues further and ends in a triangular structure. These triangular structures are called ciliary bodies or ciliary muscles. Then again, this choroid continues further to make another structure that is called iris. This structure is called iris. This bulging out part is called pupil. A small hole is present between the two knobs of iris. Actually, this is the only place through which light will enter into the eyeball. Then let's see, one more very important structure is present that is attached with the ciliary muscles, the suspensory ligaments. With these suspensory ligaments, actually your lens is attached, which is biconvex. This is the lens. This lens is biconvex. It can change its curvature. It's flexible. Then move to the inner part, the third layer, that is called retina, the sensory layer, the most important layer of your eye. This retina is the third layer, the innermost layer, that will end behind your ciliary muscles. Mean in whole eyeball till these ciliary muscles, only this third layer, that is called retina, continues, and it is provided with two different types of sensory cells. Those sensory cells are rods and cones. So let's discuss the function of these rods and cones. For more clear picture, definitely I will show you a digital picture. Okay, we are having a digital image over here. So this is the structure of eyeball. So this one is the third innermost layer, that is called retina. So we are having two different type of sensory cells, the rods, and then the cone-like structures are called cones. Actually, these are the rods. These rods, I told you, actually give you black and white image. They are very sensitive to light. When there is an area with dim light, definitely these rods will give you black and white image. So these are the cones. Actually, there are three different types of cones, as I told you earlier. Sensitive to red light, sensitive to green light, and sensitive to blue light. So this area actually telling us, these cone-like structures are actually different type of cones which are giving us color images. Okay, when we talk about these rods and cones, rods are the cells which are sensitive to light. They give you black and white image. What is their purpose? To give black and white images. They are very sensitive to light. Have you ever observed why the cats can see better than human beings at night? The reason, they are having more rods in their eye as compared to human beings. This is the main reason. These cells are sensitive to light. They give better view. If we are having more rods, we can see better in darkness. So how they function, we'll discuss it later on. Second, when we talk about the cones, they are less sensitive to light. There are three different types of cone cells. They are red cone cells, then green cone cells, and blue cone cells. actually there are three different types of your cones, three different types of cells. These three colors are called basic colors. We are having millions of types of shades of these colors, but actually there are only three basic colors. They mix in different quantities and give you different shades. So same is the case with your eye. When you observe different colors, different shades in your vicinity around you, actually these three colors, these three types of cones help you to give a broader perspective of different shades around you, right? Red, green and blue. These are the three types of cones. Okay, now we discuss the detail of rods. How they function. When we talk about the rods, these rods actually give you black and white image. When we talk about the black and white image, actually this black and white image you can see only when you have a proper amount of vitamin in your body. Vitamin A. When you have a proper amount of vitamin A in your body, this vitamin A combines with a protein that is called opsin. So a chemical is produced by the combination of this vitamin A and opsin that is called rhodopsin. This rhodopsin makes a layer of pigments on your eyeball that is called visual purple. Visual purple is a layer of pigments. In the presence of this visual purple, you can see easily the images in darkness, in dim light. That's why I told you earlier, when we talk about the rods, these cells are sensitive to light. They give you to observe black and white images. But if they are very sensitive to light, means whenever you have a intensive exposure of sunlight or any other light, in that case this visual purple layer will get bleached. And if it gets bleached, definitely, have you ever observed whenever you enter in a dark room, suppose before that you was standing at a place where you had intensive light, and after some time when you enter in a dark room, for a while you will not be able to see anything around you. You will become just like a blind person. What is the reason? Because when you was standing in the light area, at that time the visual purple layer got bleached. So that's why in the absence of visual purple layer, you cannot see black and white images. So you find everything pitch black. You cannot see. Whenever you enter in a dark room, you will not find anything in front of you, your right or your left. For a while you become just like a blind person. But after some time, again chemical reaction will take place between vitamin A and opsin protein to make rhodopsin. A new visual purple layer will be formed, and again after some time, again you will be able to see the things, see the picture clearly. So this is how your rods work actually. So when we talk about the cones, but before discussing cones, one more thing that I want to discuss that is attached with these rods. People who are facing the deficiency of vitamin A, they have a disorder that is called night blindness. It doesn't mean that they become blind. Night blindness is basically a disorder that is directly attached with the amount of vitamin A. If they have the deficiency of vitamin A, that means they cannot make visual purple layer. It means they will not be able to see things clearly when there will be a dim light or when there will be a darkness. But they will not face any problem when there is light outside. Actually, this problem they will face whenever they will enter into a place where there is a dim light or that is in dark area. In that dark area, they will not be able to see the things clearly due to the deficiency of vitamin A. But it's reversible. If they meet the deficiency of vitamin A in their body, again they can overcome on this disorder of night blindness. Okay ji. Now we talk about the cones. When we talk about the cones, I told you there are 3 different types of cones. Red, with sensitive to red color. The cones which are sensitive to green color. And then cones which are sensitive to blue color. Collectively, they make all colored images. They are not sensitive to light. So that's why, have you ever observed, whenever you enter in a dark area, you cannot differentiate between colors. If different colors are there, it is very difficult to differentiate the colors. The reason, because these 3 areas are not very sensitive to light. They cannot work in low light areas. But when you are standing in an area where there is intensive light, a little area is over there, then you will not face any problem. You can easily differentiate the colors. Is it? So keep in your mind, all color images can be seen with the help of these cones. Another disease is associated with this part of your eye, cones. That is called color blindness. When we talk about color blindness, these poor people actually cannot differentiate between the red and green color. When we have different shades in different things, they are made up of different shades. So whenever they try to differentiate the colors, they cannot separate them. Actually world is dark for them. They cannot visualize them properly. They cannot see the world colorful. This color blindness is a genetic disorder. Right? So that's why it cannot be cured. Okay. Then on this retina, we have a very specific particular area which is called yellow spot. There is a depression-like structure over here. It is called fovea centralis. Or yellow spot. This is the area where actually images formed on the retina. When light gets entered through your outer part, that is called cornea, pass through pupil, then through your lens, finally it reaches to your sensitive part or sensory part of your eye, that is called retina. Over there you are having different type of sensory cells, the rods and the cones. These are the areas where light can be detected and image is formed. This image then travels towards your brain, that is associated with the help of a nerve that is called optic nerve. Transducer cells are those type of cells which actually convert energy from one part or one form to another form. Like the light energy is going to be entered into your eye. Definitely this energy, light energy, is electromagnetic wave energy. When this electromagnetic wave energy enters into your eye, then it will be changed into another type of energy. I mean, definitely it will then travel towards your brain. This part where this optic nerve is present, the area in front of this optic nerve is without rods and cones. That's why this area is called blind spot. So we don't have sensory cells in this region, so no image is formed at this area. That is called blind spot. Then two more very important parts of the eye internally when we study it. Number one, this area, that is hollow area, the ball-like area, is filled with a jelly-like liquid that is called vitreous humor. Vitreous humor. Vitreous means glass-like. Anything that is glass-like, that is transparent, is called vitreous. So that's why this vitreous humor, that is a jelly-like structure, colorless, transparent structure, it helps the light to move further. Then second function of this vitreous humor, just to support your eyeball. In the absence of this vitreous humor, your eyeball cannot maintain its structure. I mean, definitely what will happen? It will crumble down. Then another structure that is present over here, a watery medium, 99% actually water in this medium, that is why it is called aqueous humor. Aqueous humor. So what is the function of this aqueous humor and vitreous humor? Both these liquids actually support your eye. They give support to your lens even. This lens actually have to maintain its position to give you a proper image. So that's why to fix its position, both these humors, the vitreous humor and the aqueous humor, actually support this structure that is called lens. I hope you are very clear with all the structures we discussed